Hello, my name is Haley, and I'm here to share with you a dream that I had a couple years ago. It came up tonight when I was talking to my mother, and so just recently I decided that I wanted to share it with you because I think it's important for people to hear this. I was probably about a freshman or a sophomore in high school, and just to give you a time frame, I am a graduated senior. I just graduated this past Sunday from my high school. Um, so, here I am on this empty street at night in between these two houses. Okay, and I knew for some reason that there was like a decision I was going to have to make. A moral decision. And beside me was a white dog. It was kind of like a husky. Um, I felt kind of like it had authority over me. Like there was something special about it. And I knew that I had to follow it and that I could trust it. And so I followed it in between these two houses, and I stood there. And it stood next to me, and I had this feeling like I had to go to the house on the left, in front of me. And it was a dark brown house, and there was a long line of people out the door and almost halfway down the street, but somehow I got in fairly quickly. And so I went in, and they were both ranch style houses. The one I went into first was the brown one. It was a dark brown, and then the other one was a very light tan color. So I go into the dark brown house, and I just remember thinking not to shut the door. It would be very bad if I shut the door because it would lock, and I didn't want it to lock because then I couldn't get out. And I felt like I really didn't want to go in here. This isn't where I belong. And I just remember looking at the dog. I'm going down the stairs, and the white dog is standing there in the doorway, and the door is open. And I knew that the dog would wait there for me. I think it wanted me to see what was inside. So I started walking down the stairs, and it seemed like it was going on for a long time, and I was walking past people down the stairs. And I wasn't really proud of what I saw. They were doing things that I really wish I wouldn't have seen. And I'm not really sure what they were doing, but I know that I didn't want to see them doing what they were doing. And I just was like, can this get any worse? And I kept going down, and it just seemed like I was going for a while. I mean, it was like, this house isn't big enough for all of this. But I kept going. And finally I reached the bottom level. It was like there was no top level. It just went all downstairs, like into this basement area. And down there was a lot of people. Some were dancing very unmorally, we'll put it that way. They were drunk. They were acting crazy. It was pretty disgusting. And there was a fan. There was a ceiling fan, and it was spinning. And I remember it was missing 2 blades. And I don't know why that stands out to me. It must have just furthered the fact that the place was pretty broken, and I just really wanted to get out of there. I saw a few people I knew, and I was just like, why are they here? Why would people want to be here? And I walked back up the stairs, and I saw the dog standing there in the doorway. And somehow I just was so thankful that I didn't shut that door, because I knew that if I did, it would lock, and I wouldn't have been able to get out. But I knew I could trust that dog, and so I walked out of that house, and I was so relieved when I left. And I went next door to the light tan house, and I walked up the steps, and all of a sudden the dog was gone. But I didn't really have any worries about it. And I opened the door. Actually, it opened by itself. And I just remember this great light pouring through the doorway. And I walked in, and it wasn't even like the inside of a house at all. It was like an island. And there was sand, and there was this several stories high, like, bamboo tower. And it had several levels. And it was painted white. And then there was an ocean-like body of water surrounding the island, and it was a beautiful, clear turquoise color. And then there were these big, huge cloths laying on the sand, like hammocks, kind of. And I just remember how soft they were. They were really soft, and all the colors were very vibrant and beautiful. And the sun was shining, and I just felt warm. It was like perfect. And I remember laying on a big purple cloth. There was a teal one and a yellow, like all kinds of different colors, and it was just, they were all spread out all over the sand. And I remember laying on one of them and closing my eyes and feeling the warmth of the sun. And I wondered why everybody was at that other house, and why this place was completely and utterly empty. And then I wondered where the dog went. But I was overwhelmed with how peaceful and how beautiful this place was. And I was overwhelmed with sadness as well, because nobody but me was there. And I just couldn't help but wonder why. That other place was so awful. And I just felt like bittersweet, because I was in such a beautiful place, but I was all alone. And so I walked back out the door and into the street again. And there was that white dog, that husky, with its piercing blue eyes. And it was listening to everything. And then I remember walking towards the fence. It was a chain link fence between the two houses. And all of a sudden the dog was gone. And I felt like something was standing behind me. And I just knew. I knew it was evil. I knew it was Satan. And then it just gripped me, like, instead of just me, like my physical self, it felt like it just gripped me all over. And I couldn't move. I was like paralyzed. I was very much scared. But inside, I had this peace inside. And I just remember it saying, I've got her. I'm going to smother the light out of her. And then I knew that he couldn't. This being, this evil thing, it couldn't hurt me. And I wasn't afraid. And then I woke up. Now, I don't know how you would translate this or what you think of it, but I like to think that God was trying to tell me something. I think God was trying to tell me to stay on the path I'm going on and trust Him to lead me where I need to go. Because while everybody else is taking that path, I have my own to walk. And that I shouldn't be afraid of anything. And, I don't want to go to that dark brown house. I want to go where that dog is taking me. Now, the reason why this came up tonight was because my mom asked me, she said, Haley, what does dog spell backwards? And I thought about it for a minute. It spells G-O-D. Explain that to me. I think we know exactly what this dream symbolizes. I guess here's the question. Are you gonna believe? Are you gonna believe that maybe you shouldn't go to that brown house either? Maybe you want to go to the warm place. I know I do. I hope this causes you to think a little bit about where you're going. God bless you.